Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Martine, and if you are new here, I do videos on Vedic astrology mainly, but also with some tropical insights. And I do videos on both relationship and natal astrology. And if you like this content and you would like to hear more videos from me, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of subjects. Please check out the video description. I will leave the information there. Thank you. So today I'm going to continue with the Ascendant predictions for 2021. And this video is for Scorpio Ascendant. And what is Scorpio Ascendant going to go through in 2021? Before I get into the video, as I mentioned in all the other previous videos, the next sign that I will be covering is also the last in this series of Ascendant predictions, and it's Virgo. So sorry Virgo, because you drew the shortest straw this time and you came in last, but last but not least. Yeah, and I hope to do that video also in a few days. And so this video is for Scorpio rising, and again, as an introduction, I will be looking at Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto to a small extent, and Rahu and Ketu, and how these will aspect your chart throughout 2021, what areas of life will be affected and all that. And as usual, I have divided the year into two separate charts. The first chart is for when Jupiter is in Capricorn and will be conjunct Saturn and Pluto. And the other part is chart 2 that corresponds to the time when Jupiter will move into Aquarius and will no longer be conjunct Saturn and Pluto. And also you will see on the screen that I have marked the aspects of these planets and points with different colors. Once again, in Vedic astrology, Saturn casts so-called, actually all of these cast so-called special aspects. So Saturn will aspect the 1st, the 3rd, the 7th, and the 10th placement from where it sits. Jupiter, Rahu, and Ketu actually will aspect the 1st, the 5th, the 7th, and the 9th placements from where it sits. And I have marked these with, so Saturn aspects are marked with gray, Jupiter is marked with yellow, Rahu is marked with pink, and Ketu is marked with blue. So those are the houses for Scorpio Ascendant that will be affected by these planets. And again, before I get into it, another short mention is that, as I mentioned in previous videos, this is a very general interpretation, and obviously things are going to vary for different individuals who have Scorpio Ascendant based on what other planets you have in these houses, what other transits you're going to go through from month to month. But last but not least, what is really important is that you check out the Mahadashas and Antardashas. These are very personalized transits, so every person is going through a Mahadasha or an Antardasha starting with the moment of birth. And if this year you happen to be in the Mahadasha or Antardasha of one of these planets or points that are marked on the chart, you're going to be particularly affected by the things that I am describing. And again, if you also want to get into more detail, you also want to look at Ashtaka scores, which are basically scores given to all different planets based on, I'm not even sure exactly, mathematical calculations. And you want to check the Ashtaka scores, whether these are high or low. I think for Saturn, it's over 3. Anything over 3 is considered high Ashtaka score. Somewhere between 0 and 3 is, or maybe 1 to 3 is average. Below 1 is pretty bad. For Jupiter, I think it's like after maybe 4 or 5 is a high Ashtaka score. Somewhere between 3, 5, 2, 5 is average. Actually 3 to 5 I would say is average. Below 2 is pretty low score for Jupiter. So if you have a low Ashtaka score, basically you will be manifesting more of the negative side of these aspects. And also another thing to mention is that for Scorpio, Rahu, Ketu, and Saturn are so-called functional malefics. So for your ascendant, these planets will be more damaging than helpful. Jupiter, however, will be a functional benefic, so this planet is going to be more helpful than damaging. So please take all of these into account as I progress with the description. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about Rahu and Ketu, which will be staying that way in these signs throughout the entire year. So Rahu will be in Taurus and Ketu will be in Scorpio, and it will fall into your first house. So Rahu will aspect, so it sits in your 7th house and will aspect the 11th and the 3rd houses, which are all of the air houses which rule relationships basically. And this can cause disruptions in partnerships, marriage, or sudden changes, strange situations regarding relationships. It might cause an attraction to a foreign partner, whether you are already in a relationship or not. Also, your relationship in general to partner, friends, siblings, neighbors might become difficult or unusual, or there will be sudden changes and chances of making new foreign contacts, or basically increasing your social circle. Ketu will be in Scorpio in your 1st house and aspecting the 5th and the 9th houses. This year you will become especially secretive, introverted, interested in occult subjects, especially things to do with spirits, the spiritual world, or like other dimensions and stuff like that. So you might be suddenly interested in getting a psychic reading. You will also, and also to by the same token, you're also going to be interested in astrology, tarot, anything that is mystical in nature. It also will make you, so like I said, introverted, and there will be a lot less focus on materialism or asserting yourself during this year. In fact, you might tend to become too introverted, so be careful if that is the case. And so things to do with personal expression, creative expression, philosophy, education, as well as travel will be areas that you have less interest in during this year. So now to get into the chart 1 phase. Chart 1 is applying for the time frame from around January 1st, 2021 to around April 5th, 2021, and from September 14th, 2021 until November 20th, 2021. And as you can see on the screen, Saturn rules the 4th and the 3rd houses. In your case, Jupiter rules the 2nd and the 5th houses. So the most important area of your life this year, of course, especially if you also have a lot of personal planets in the 3rd house, is going to be the 3rd house, because that's where Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto are conjunct in Capricorn. So the 3rd house is the house of short distance travel, so even things like errands or commutes to work, for instance, are ruled by the 3rd house, but anything that is, domestic travel, basically, so within the same city, the same county, or even within the same country. Younger siblings, neighbors, personal efforts, and focus also rules vehicles, communications, teaching, communications and teaching, right? So basically, these will become areas that are going to be of particular focus and also increased responsibility for you during this year. There will be some kind of important transformations going on with regards to these areas. Saturn in the 3rd and also in Capricorn is going to be particularly strong. Even though it is a functional malefic, for you, it is most likely to bring at least some very positive results, because Saturn is happy in the 3rd house. And if you have ever had any inclination to start your own business, or any kind of venture, or even a new hobby, this is definitely the right time for you to do so, because chances of success are going to be higher than usual. So your willpower will definitely get a boost, and the chances of success in any enterprise, actually anything you enterprise or you start this year, have really high chances of success. Yeah, again, if other configurations in your chart show that you are meant to do business as opposed to getting a job, this is definitely a good year for you to start. Again, also considering Mahadashas and Antardashas. Real estate and your mother will be your main motivation this year and will affect your ability to succeed. Jupiter will be in Capricorn during the chart 1 phase, so your money luck will definitely improve. You might even gain from speculative activities like the lottery or gambling during this time, right? The 5th house will be aspected, as you can see, by Saturn and Ketu, and this will show a lack of interest in creative expression and children. Obstacles and hurdles as well in the 5th house because of matters to do with real estate and communication, also short distance travel. Another interpretation could be that it might be difficult to conceive during this time, or if you already have a child, you need to be careful in watching over their health. Also, another thing that it can show is that if you are single, again, it's probably not the best year to start dating somebody new. The 7th house is aspected by Jupiter, Rahu, and actually Rahu sits there. So because Jupiter is a great benefic, even though Rahu sits there, most of the negative effects of Rahu in the 7th will be mitigated during this first chart phase. Business might see some kind of growth or improvement financially. Your family of origin, your voice, and your children or your creativity will have a positive effect on your partnerships in general, whether they are romantic or business partnerships. The 9th house will be aspected by Ketu, Saturn, and Jupiter. You will have an increased chance of pursuing higher education and long-distance travel, mostly due to the increase in financial status. The 11th is aspected by Rahu and Jupiter, which shows increased opportunities to make new friends and to network, even if only online. Your voice, your creativity, or your family of origin and your children can bring gains, whether in social status or money, or some kind of increase in your social contacts or social circle. The 1st house, again, is inhabited by Ketu this year, which shows increase in intuition, like I said, interest in metaphysics and introversion. General introversion, at least with comparison to previous years, you might have a tendency to let yourself go with regards to your physical body, meaning your fitness and your appearance, so you need to be careful not to become too neglectful, because this could lead to health problems. Also, yeah, that's pretty much it, actually. Okay, so this was for the chart 1 phase. Now for the chart 2 phase, as you can see on the screen, this chart applies to the time frame from around April 5th, 2021 until September 14th, 2021, and from around November 20th, 2021 until December 31st, 2021, when Jupiter moves into Aquarius and into your 4th house, as you can see on the screen. Alone, which means Jupiter is no longer being aspected by Saturn or Pluto, and especially Saturn, because Saturn and Jupiter are not on friendly terms, and Saturn is very powerful during this time because it's in Capricorn. So, because Jupiter frees itself from the Saturn influence, this will definitely, and also coupled with the fact that Jupiter is a functional benefic in your case, it will be particularly strong, so it will give stronger financial gains, especially in matters to do with real estate, or connected to your motherland, ancestral property, meaning you might inherit something during this time. Also the atmosphere in your home, like your immediate home, your physical home, will be more optimistic, joyful, and rich, just overall richer. Also, there could be a higher chances of just family gatherings. Family will gather under one roof, more likely. Jupiter will aspect the 8th, the 10th, the 12th houses, as you can see there with the yellow, which shows increase of financial gains from investments, joint ventures, which means anything that you have started with a partner, everything that results from some kind of enterprise that you took with a partner. Increase of career opportunities, increase of long-distance travel, chances of long-distance travel, and also the 12th house being house of losses. This shows me that losses, expenditures will diminish or even disappear, or they will become more manageable for you. And also, if you are employed, or if you have any kind of a contract signed during this time, it will be easier for you to negotiate in such a way that you get monetary compensations should this contract end. Right, and then this is pretty much it. And also, since Jupiter will no longer aspect, so Jupiter will remove its aspect from the houses where it sat before, so because it moves into the 4th house and no longer is conjunct Saturn, it removes its influence from the 3rd, 7th, and 11th houses. And so this shows me that during this time of the year, you need to be especially careful about your siblings, your neighbors, your partners, whether romantic or business partners, because they might swindle you, or they might betray you, or they might cause all kinds of difficulties. And also, especially if you have to sign a contract during this time, or even if you have to get married during this time, you need to be especially careful about what you are signing, because again, you could be swindled. So just be really thorough in analyzing the situation, and especially be careful about going for anything that seems particularly shiny and attractive and, basically seems too good to be true, because chances are really high that this is just smoke and mirrors. And yeah, that has been pretty much it. And okay, so this has been it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave comments in the comment section if you have, and any kind of feedback that you want to give. And also, once again, thank you for listening, and if you liked it, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And if you are interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of subjects. Please check out the video description. I will leave the information there. Thank you.